And this is how I just talk. I always talk with my wrist positioned precisely under my chin like this because my watch is a very important part of my persona. No, joking. This is a Seiko Tuna, the 033 model. I would have to say it looks better than any watch I've ever worn on my wrist. Sings on the wrist. It demands my attention. And happy to say that. I wanted to do two updates today. I don't have a lot of watch updates because I've kept my collection at 7. It's a way of managing anxieties. It's a way of feeling in control. It's a way of enjoying watches like this. I can't enjoy watches that I own when I spread the attention too thinly all over the place. And so I've not been buying a lot of watches. So that's just what I've had to learn for myself. I've got to keep it at 7. After 7, my brain can't take it. I go into chaos mode. It's like flight fright response. And so I wanted to do an update on that. Just show you that this watch, the Seiko 033, plays bigger on my wrist than the 031, which is my second best looking watch. This is a stainless steel as opposed to polish on the 031. And wanted to give an update on shaving. I was going to tell you something, and then as I was shaving, and I shave every day, I'm one of your obsessed wet shavers. There's a lot of them, and we have a lot in common. You know, we love shaving more than any time of the day. We're obsessed with it. I was going to tell you that I had been shaving with feather razors, and they're considered the best. I mean, most people say feather, that's the best, and they are really good. They're made in Japan, they're very sharp. And they're pretty expensive, about 25 bucks for a year's worth, as opposed to $10 for a year's worth in other brands. And I was going to tell you, as I was using them with my Gillette Slim and my Gillette Fat Boy, that they were good the first shave. They were pretty good, but then they weren't that good after that. And I was having more success with the Astra Platinum. And I was going to tell you, I had made this giant epiphany, this giant realization that, you know, the expensive feather wasn't what it's cracked up to be. But so I gave the Gillette Super Speed a chance. The reason why I gave it a rest is because it was so light and small in my hand. I like a heavy feel, but I was actually getting better shaves with this. I was not cutting myself with this. My wife uses the other one. I got a red tip, which was more expensive. My wife, she gravitated toward it, and she's enjoying it, and I'm happy for her because she's not using that Venus plastic thing. So I've been using this standard Super Speeds from the 60s. I think it's a 67 model, something of that nature. Can't remember. Maybe a 64. Excellent condition. And I put the feather in it, and I've gotten amazing shaves with it twice so far. I'm going to do a third shave with it tomorrow. So the best combination so far for me has been the Gillette Super Speed with a feather. I'm going to try it with a platinum to see. Maybe it's not aggressive enough for the platinum. I don't know. But I'm really liking this. I'm loving my... I mean, you know why I like working out so much? Because after I work out, I know I'm going to shave. I've been using Taylor Bond Sandalwood Shaving Cream. I'm obsessed with the smell of it. I do like the smell of sandalwood, and I've been using either Pro Rosso or its twin brother, CO Bigelow. It's the same stuff, just in a different container. I've been mixing it up in this bowl with a synthetic brush. I'm not into the badger hair stuff, but I got a synthetic brush. I whip it up, put it on there. Last thing I'm discovering is that when I put a little bit of this shaving cream in the bowl, I have some residual on my hand. I'll put it on my face, and I'll wash it off with a hot washcloth. That's a good base for when I put on the lather. I'm getting excellent shaves with that. So what is this thing about watches? You know, I've had my hobbies, my obsessions. I have an obsessive personality. I embrace it, right? Embrace my obsessive personality. And you've seen me on the YouTube channel, and you've explored my obsession with watches. A lot of you love watches, and with wet shaving. I will tell you, in 2004, I was obsessed for about 6 years with radios. They had to be radios that had the ultimate reception, especially FM reception. and I still have that going. I think I've done an occasional radio review here. And, you know, I want to talk this in the context, I live in the United States of America. And I think it's important for me and many of people who watch this channel. We have our rituals, we have our obsessions, we have our hobbies, and I think it's a way of managing anxiety. We live in anxious, very anxious times. This is a hellacious time to live in America. I'm 55. By the way, I'll be 56 in about 10 days or so, 8 days, something like that. I'm almost 56 years old. And I don't think I've seen my country so divided. And, I'm not going to get political on you here. If you want politics, I'm sure you have your favorite cable news station. I have mine. You have yours. We can all get along. I'm not going to give you a political lecture. But I notice there's a lot of anxieties in the air. There's a tension. There's a ferocious divide in this country. On one extreme, you've got cultural identity politics, and on the other extreme, you have another type of politics. And, I want to tell you something. I went to a family reunion up in Northern California. And I have family from Berkeley, and they represent a particular point of view. And I have family from Georgia, and they represent a particular point of view. And there was a time in that there were some conversations going on. I walked away. I felt like I was walking on eggshells, and then I was talking to some of my family from Berkeley afterward in the car as we drove back, and I heard some things, and it was really what I heard was a microcosm of what's going on in this country. I I don't expect us to agree on stuff, but I was hoping, looking forward, that we could at least agree on a set of facts for which is the basis of reality, from which we can disagree on. And I don't see that anymore. I even see separate realities, separate bubbles. And scares the hell out of me, makes me anxious. I think a lot of us are anxious. I think a lot of us are disappearing into our bubbles. I know disappearing into my shaving or watch obsession isn't going to save the country or me, but I understand it as a coping mechanism. So I wanted to give you an update on that. Love wet shaving. I realized it was a whole new world that opened up to me. There's a whole society of wet shaving enthusiasts. I didn't even know there was a society of watch enthusiasts, different types. You've got your Breitling Club, you got your diver clubs, and so on. And I think it gives us a sense of belonging, a sense of comfort, a sense of ritual. We like to do things at the same time of the day. Anxious times we live in, man. No political lectures here, man. Go watch your favorite cable news station. Get your appetite fixed that way. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I am out.